Hello, hello, hello. Happy Unemployment Retail Sales Thursday. How's everyone doing? Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting in the earnings, even though you're on vacation. Really, really appreciate it, buddy. Good there. GE was a beat. Abbott was a beat. TSM stock symbol, Taiwan Semiconductor, beat. Gapping up on that. Pepsi, we're along that and Slice was a beat, gapping up on that. Manpower, beat. Cintas, beat. There's lots of beats. Elevance Health, misbeat. See, they weren't playing the game correctly. Novartis was a beat miss, but U.S. Bancorp was a beat. Thank you. Morning, John. Some of these other ones Travelers was also beat miss, missing on revenue. Good morning, Kevin. Snap on, snap off was a beat. Good morning from Vegas, Jake. How are you doing in Vegas? Where are you there for a vacation or a trip? What's going on? Where are you staying in Vegas? Good morning, Heinrich. What else? Hey, Michael Anthony putting in TD Cohen adjust price target on Pfizer 30 from 28. You gotta love analysts. Yes, thank you for shouting out Sterling Heinrich, the man that never sleeps. I think he does get some sleep, but he's up. He's in here bright and early. Sterling is Erling. No, bright and early. David, good morning. Can we take a look at hymns? We can just remind me, Christoph. Again, I haven't seen you in a while, Christoph. Thank you for tuning back in. I did not share my card counting techniques with Jake. Good morning, Harold. Good morning, Dean. I'd like to say good morning, everybody. Good morning, Royal Palms. I know some people get annoyed with it. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Tony. Staying here at the Four Seasons, out here for work. We'll have a really grand time, Jake. I have not been to Vegas in a little bit. So, we had retail sales coming in at 0.6. Consensus with 0.1 is a strong beat there. Also, remember, retail sales, not inflation adjusted. So, retail sales can also beat because of price increases. Just remember that. I've been working. Real estate has been good. Well, I'm glad, Christoph. I'm happy for you. Initial jobless claims coming in better than expected. Consensus was 235. Prior was 228. Actuals 221. Retail sales, again, good. Continued jobs claims a little higher than prior, but down from consensus. Philly Fed, stronger business conditions, employment bouncing back. Prices paid climbing. And new orders bouncing back up. So new orders climbing, but prices paid also climbing. But strong numbers from Philly Fed this morning. Retail sales year over year, prior was 3.3, now it's 3.9. What else do we have today? We got Kugler speaking. We got the 4 and 8 week bill auctions. We got Cook speaking. And we got Waller speaking this evening. Tomorrow, remember, we have consumer sentiment. So, a lot of numbers are out of the way today. The heat map, we've got pretty much besides Google, all the Mag 7 are up. NVIDIA and Broadcom continue to climb. Micron's the only fly in the punch there. Pepsi's up. 5.69. So, GE Aerospace up 2. They released. Again, Sterling put that in. So there's where we sit. Starbucks not doing so well today, down 184 basis points. But overall groups, technology, let's just do a quick refresh here. Technology leading, followed by industrials, basic materials, and healthcare lagging. But definitely technology is still running. Fed Watch still has a pretty much, remember, we have 13 days. Not next week, but the week after Wednesday, we have the next meeting date, which is pretty much still a lock for a pause, even though we had the volatility induced yesterday with I have the letter to fire Powell, but I don't know. I'm not going to. So, who knows? It's a clown show. And then we still minorly favor. I mean, this is close, though. I mean, you got to get over 80% before it gets into the lock territory. And this is at 50% for a cut in September. So that's pretty interesting. Well, that's the one I'm really keeping an eye on every day. Fear and greed, right at greed, extreme greed. Schiller PE, 38.16. All right, we already went through the earnings. So we have Netflix after the close. That's the biggie. Netflix after the close. Then and Lockheed Martin. Well, now it's Martin. Lockheed Martin. Tomorrow morning, 3M, but there's an American Express, but not Charles Schwab. Not a lot that's really could be market moving tomorrow. Going to keep a close eye on Netflix this afternoon. So, hello, Charles. Yeah, they stayed bid all day, even on the gap up. Keep an eye on volatility, folks. Well, volatility, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Would not want to be short volatility. These funds that are short and vol and buying stocks would not want to be. Once we get something, again, the market is very, very complacent. This is also a textbook sideways correction. Look at cycles here. Cycles back down to the bottom. Sideways move holding the rotation zone. Still pinned at the top. All right, we've tried to break out a couple times, but no follow through on a closing basis. And remember, tomorrow, even though we only have Michigan consumer sentiment, we have July option expiration. July option expiration tomorrow. I'm going to be seeing if that frees up some stuff, but that'll be interesting to see where we close tomorrow. But on the daily basis, so far, cycles back to the bottom with a sideways correction. Other than that, again, the dips in the rotation zone have been holding. I cannot go overly short. We had that little breakdown yesterday, but that was boom, boom. You didn't even, I was watching that key level, this 62.60, 62.63 area, dip below it for a brief, that was Bubba. There was no opportunity right there, and then we just reversed longs on the, I'm not going to fire Powell. So, still paying a close attention here. Right now, just using my harmonics. No, they're not mine. I'm sort of the guy who puts them out there, but we closed above the 62.5 with the 4-hour bar that started on the European Open time. Okay. And are moving higher. So my targets, we're closing in on now 63.17 and then 63.30. So my target, it's actually the target is not just a 63.30. I'm looking at 63.30 to about 63.35 as the next key target area on the continued rally. On any pullback, you see we spiked right down here already. The area I'm watching for support is 6,300. All right. The next key area is just about this is 62.90. So this would be a major support block if something, because you never know what's coming out with this administration to shake up things. If we did break down again, I'm still using the 62.63 area, which is support. NASDAQ, there's the harmonics. Based off the spike down yesterday, we closed again above the 62.5. So on the short-term stuff, I'm focusing on the long side. Again, my next key harmonic cluster area is 23,715. We break above that. 23,222 is the high. And then I want to see how this looks cluster-wise. Again, this might not be for today, but for tomorrow, if it continues to march higher into OPEX. All right. Not a super strong cluster. Actually, want to see if we do this. Not a super strong. I'd be going off this third 23,294, but I'd be looking more to at least raise a stop at 23,271. That would be the key target area, 23,294 to 24K if it continues to run tomorrow. Going into the open, though, this now, With the spike low, we've got a new very key level of support on a major rollover, about 22,835. Heading into the open on any pullback today, we've already tested it once. I'm looking right around 23,070. Dow, we have the channeling double. Not much to talk about here. Hitting the first target on the spike down yesterday, which is where I was focusing because of the rising rotation zone. Again, we got the rising rotation zone still rising up. My target area for this now is still the upper end of this channel. I'm really focused on about this 44,685 area. Russell, didn't update this yet, but there you go. The only way I can start resumptive looking for bullish plays if it can close above this 2257. Other than that, I'm still potentially looking for rollover plays between 2245 to 2257. Sterling brought up the VIX. Again, it's staying a little more elevated now. Heading into tomorrow, if we start breaking below about 1690, I'll continue really focusing on the long side today and tomorrow. DAX, we've confirmed, but not triggered. You can see here, you could have traded on the 1 hour, and I said I need a 4 hour follow through, but 1 hour only spiked above it to confirm. It's still completely valid. It's still completely valid. Trading at a pretty significant resistance area right now. But this is still, I need the 1 hour close or a 4 hour close if you're a little more conservative above 24,391. It is confirmed though. So, it is confirmed. The yields dropping a bit. By the way, there is a 4 hour mini double top. So, would I be shorting yields right now? No, I would not. I'd be looking for, if we did drop below here, I'd be looking for pullbacks. I'd be paying attention to that 4.4 level, potentially. It has not even confirmed or triggered yet. Other than that, I'm still focused on, and that would return it into the rotation zone, and I'd be looking for another long yield setup. Remember, cycles at the top. So would not be surprised to see a little yield easing, but then I'd be looking for another buy setup. 30-year, again, closing above 5 yesterday, trying to pull back a little here. There is no double top in the 30-year. But I'm watching, again, for yields to continue to climb on the 30-year after. Again, we could roll over, we could pull back a bit, but I'm still looking for climbing there. We have crude. We have a little mini inverse head and shoulders, and we have a percent B buy bar potentially. So yesterday's highs key, and there's a little mini inverse head and shoulders. It is confirmed but not triggered. I need a 4 hour close. This would be the level I'm watching. In case you're interested, I'm watching for a close above this neckline. We were spiking above it earlier. But not even we spiked above it. But again, I'm being patient. Going to be watching for this if we do get follow through. And then I need follow through on a daily basis with the follow through close because it is a percent beat buy bar. Same thing holds. If we do close below the 50, I'm not looking for, I'm going to be patient on bullish setups. Gold breaking down from the channeling flag pattern. Again, we got into the 50 to 60%. We rolled over. Now, would I be super bearish on gold? No, I'm not. I'm going to be watching with this breakdown. If we continue, okay, below the 50, then I'm really going to be watching how it reacts between this 32.99 to 32.55 because that's where it found very key support, and that's from the retracement 50 to 62.5. Okay, the only way I could get in the short term, again, long term, still bullish gold. The only thing that changes that is if we were to trigger the massive double top. Short term, though, if we started closing below 62.5, I'd be looking for pullbacks and I'd be hedging long positions in the short term. Silver, Nothing yet. We are still rolling over on cycles, so I'm being patient on silver. Not much yet in copper, still being patient on that too. Dollar index, 2 spikes into the 50. Again, we had the little snap reaction off the potential Powell firing rumors yesterday, but again, coming down to test the trend line. Still watching for a pullback in the dollar. But the dollar's shrugging off a lot of stuff right now. So we've nearly tacked off the 87.5 from the minor level. The next key thing I'm watching, though, is this 98.70 area. You can see here, 98.57 was the prior 87.5, but on the bigger picture, 98.71. So 98.57 and 98.71 is going to be very key for me. Good morning, PMG. Hey, good morning, Rick. What else is going on? I'll get to this in this. Patrick, you're late. Sorry you're late. Had a pallet of flagstone delivered. I understand that flagstone takes precedence. I can understand flagstone taking precedence. So clearly broken. Little spike up with the Powell stuff yesterday, but the rotation zone rolling over now. So still will be watching for minor bounce plays in the euro for new short setups. All right. So keeping an eye on that. And it's at the bottom of the rotation or the top of the rotation zone. So would not be surprised to see some bounce plays in this, but then setting up for potential rollover plays in euro. Again, I am being very patient on a lot of things. Yields, little pullback here, but I'm going to be watching for, again, long yield setups in the yen. And the yen, I'm still watching for weakening plays. My target, this 149.70 area. Spiders. If we rotate back up, the double we got to get a little higher, but it looks like the double is going to be off the table. I'm just pulling it off at this point. The potential double that never confirmed or triggered. And where do we sit right now? Let me update all this. Let me update everything, because now I'm going to forward, pausing bar, harmonics. So we're flipping this. So right now, 624.67. 624.18 is the 62.5 level. Okay, right. And look where we closed yesterday. I updated it on my other platform, not on this. We 624.73. So we closed above the harmonic yesterday. So again, my target 625.41 and 626.63 in the short term. If we did roll over into the open, I'd be watching for the gap fill only. 624.22. The Qs right now, based off of this, looking at, again, the Qs, you can see here, that was the close right there. Right, look where the 6.2 is at 557.33. The Qs closing at 557.29. So technically no 6.2.5 rule. I'm still looking, though, targets 558.49 and 559.65. What else do we have? We have Bitcoin so far sideways correction, holding the rotation zone. I know we had what? What was that? What else do we have? What was it? We have, Lucid. Lucid shares jumping off Uber. Going to use them for robo-taxis. I think we had a request for hymns. HIMS. Let's do our analysis on HIMS. Again, what do you got here? Everybody should be familiar. We got the pullback, 50 to 62.5. Love those for buy zones. Rotating up, you still got a potential gap fill. Again, unless HIMS breaks back down and closes below 40.25, you already broke above this key level, okay? And now you're testing harmonics. On any pullbacks, you're against key resistance, which would have been a first key target. So next thing, it's got to still get back above this 52.10 area. And then the next target I'd be looking at this point, I just use your prior harmonics. I wouldn't even, you can flip them if you want, but I'd just be using this. They're around this 56.50 and the 61.95 area. Then you have the gap fill. Again, it would be off the table. Early warning sign would be if it broke back down below this Monday, the 7th of July lows. That would be early warning, but it would have to follow through them with a 40.25. I know where a stop for any longs, where it would be for me. Again, I am not long this, so I don't have a stop there, but I know where it would be. Other than that, you know, if we look at the weekly rotation zone, we dip below it, but closing in it. So the early warnings, then also look where that low is here, in case it wasn't clear where my stop would be, right there. Now look where that is with the weekly. So if we got a close below that, you'd probably get the weekly close below that rotation zone, and then I would not, in the short term, be long this. Can't give you trading advice. That's how I'd structure it. All right. XLF. Sorry, we haven't visited that in a little bit on this platform, but XLF. Bigger picture, where was it? XLF. Where did I see that? I thought I saw all right, XLF short setup? I would not, here, let's take a look at the bigger picture. Would I be short this yet? No. You're against the weekly rotation zone. You do have some divergences potentially forming up here, but again, there's not a strong short. What I would be looking for is on a rotation back up if it forms a more significant topping pattern. You know, technically, you could, if with daily cycles at the bottom, if we did close above yesterday's high, it would be a %B buy setup still. And then I'd be looking for the secondary reaction bounce. It could be setting up a larger top, but I would not be shorting this based off of this potential setups. We don't have a strong short setup yet, at least one that I'd trade. All right, RXRX. What is RXRX? I've never looked at RXRX in my life. I mean, it's trying to form a base here. To have to, again, your key level, my key level, not your key level. My key level would be around 594, 595. So for any buy setup you might have, it'd have to follow through above 594, 595 for me. And I know if it broke back down below 484, 485, 484, right in here, I would not want to be long it. Because it formed a lower base, a higher base. So any long setups, I know if we close below 480, technically it would be around 480. I would not want to be long that sucker. You were chatting with ChatGPT about what, Coco? You're welcome, OD Green. You're welcome, Rick. Again, these are if you have setups that are completely valid for yourself, then you trade you. I can only do my analysis the way I look at it. Again, if you have a setup that says something different, Like you might have a long setup in here for RX. My thing if for me, any longs now have to follow through and get a key close above that 595. RX is owned by NVIDIA. I did not know that, Royal Palms. And longer term, I learn something every day from. Look at this. Look at how the harmonics line up. Wow. Look at that. Look at the 12 and a half, the 25. So you start blowing through there. I know my next target area. It'd roughly be about $6.85 to $7 if this does get the long on. And then my next target area, right around 8. Wall Street banks now hold over 1.17 trillion in top tier collateral levels not seen since Q1 2008. Feels like a Michael Burry style bet, hinting at possible financial trouble ahead. Well, we will see. I think this market's way, way, way too complacent, especially with the yields climbing again. This market is super complacent, but are there shorts? No, there are not. I don't have any. We're running out of momentum to the upside, but again, we've been running out of momentum for a while. Look at the, so I can't get aggressively short this. There might be a little micro trade, but nothing major yet. It's going to give time. It's going to give time, especially with the weekly rotation zone. We could get some. I'm watching silver outside key reversal bars. But guess what? We could dip into the weekly rotation zone, then have the secondary reaction putting in a more significant topping pattern. We just don't have it yet. Or I need to close below the weekly rotation zone, like what happened with the tariff tantrum. When we started closing below key support and the weekly rotation zone, and then boom, bottom fell out. So, and are we anywhere close to closing below the weekly rotation zone? No, we haven't even dipped into it recently. So I'm not saying that we can't sell off and pull back, but they'll generally, unless something horrible happens in the world, and even if something horrible happened in the world, it's not going, we're not going to like 18,000 in one day. There'll be time. There'll be time. You didn't just say you trade you? I think I did say you trade you. You do you. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. All right. Markets are open. I just want to see where the tick opened today. Curious. Minorly negative open, nothing majorly negative there. Slight selling pressure there. Little sell off into the open, but nothing major there. I mean, nothing's changed with the levels. Again, any pullback, first key level support for me is a 6,300. The window is 6,300 to 6,291 if we were to pull back in there. With that, I will see everyone for option expiration Friday. Tomorrow, again, you do you. You trade you. And we will say, Sterling, have a wonderful vacation. And Jake, enjoy your time, your work time in Vegas. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful trading day. Where do you park your money while you wait? Me? I still have money parked in T-bills. Money I want to keep liquid and free, I still have it parked in T-bills. 4-week T-bills, which the auction's today, by the way. So that's where I keep my money parked. All right. You're welcome, Jake. I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.